So this study here looks into whether nicotine and caffeine affect your risk of getting Parkinson's. Now, just some background if you're not aware, Parkinson's is caused by your dopamine basically messing up. So you don't produce enough dopamine, and dopamine is very important in terms of sending signals. So it helps you move. I don't know about the other symptoms of Parkinson's, but I imagine it would probably affect your functionality in your brain as well. But again, Parkinson's is caused by your dopamine being messed up, and nicotine and caffeine affect dopamine. So nicotine definitely spikes your dopamine, and then caffeine, I believe it does it indirectly through adenosine. So that's roughly how everything works. I'm going to skim through this study now. Here's the list of smoking studies. And also, I might start referring to it just as nicotine and caffeine, just because, just to help the algorithm. I don't know. So that's what I'll start referring it to. But I mean the original two things. And these are the nicotine studies, so you can see the full list here. Next up is the summary for nicotine or smokers. Guess it doesn't really matter. I'll just use the word smokers. And it kind of confused me at first because we've got ever smokers, past smokers, and current smokers. Now, I think it just has weird wording because it's a meta-analysis and it has studies from, if I didn't mention it, it's a meta-analysis. So I believe there's like 45 studies overall for the smoking, and the coffee drinkers, there were like 13 studies for that. And that means there's multiple studies being analysed, which is why I think they have funny categories. Like they have ever smokers, which I wasn't sure whether it means like they have ever been a smoker, or someone said online, it said like it has like they've had at least 100 cigarettes or something. But basically they have smoked or were ever a smoker, something like that. But what's clearer is the past smokers and current smokers. Now they found that there was a 0.39 relative risk of the current smokers. So the relative risk of a normal non-smoker is 1. So your chances of getting Parkinson's is basically 60% less if you're a smoker compared to a non-smoker, which I think is absolutely fucking crazy, to be honest. Past smokers even had benefit as well. They're like 20% less likely to get Parkinson's. And then the ever smokers one, which is really annoying because I don't know exactly what it means. I tried looking for it in the study. They have a 40% chance, or 40% smaller chance of getting Parkinson's. So they also found quite interesting results for the coffee as well. And they found that, you can see here, if you look under that second column, RR, that's the relative risk for all the studies, and that's compared to 1. So you've got 0.18, 0.82. So for example, let's take the top figure, 0.74. That means a 74% chance compared to a 1, which would be a 100% chance, or that's like the baseline. So I think it's quite interesting. Like it's you're less likely to get Parkinson's as well, whether you smoke and whether you have coffee as well. When really I feel like it's mainly down to the adenosine changes and the nicotine. So really just caffeine and nicotine, but it does not said in this study, but I'm almost certain it's that. So they even mention in their discussion that Parkinson's disease is 60% lower among current smokers than never smokers, and 30% lower among coffee drinkers than among non-coffee drinkers. And they also say the coffee benefit is dose dependent. So I think it says here if you have like each cup of coffee a day is associated with a 10% risk reduction. Now, obviously, this probably all works because of the dopamine pathways I was talking about before. I was confused because I wondered maybe if you're activating that dopamine more, you might kind of burn out your dopamine, but maybe it has some sort of preserving effect, or you've had higher levels of dopamine throughout your life, so it can I don't know, preserve something a bit more. It's quite interesting in terms of, having too high dopamine. I know schizophrenia has been potentially related to that. So there could be dangers going the other way. But I think it's crazy that we take things such as like coffee and smoking, and it can actually help prevent like a serious disease like Parkinson's, which isn't currently curable, I believe. And they do give you certain treatments to increase your dopamine, I believe. I'm not an expert on that. But yeah, I thought it was a cool study. Meta-analysis, got so much info there. It's, pretty accepted at this point. And yeah, I hope you liked the study anyway. I'll leave it linked down below. And yeah, thanks for watching.